interactive. We welcome all comments. Good, bad, and indifferent. We were at 23 East.
Stephen?
Yes, go ahead. I can't.
Stephen?
Yes,
Stephen?
I'm hearing you. Go ahead.
Right, this is Kermit McGann, Kiwanis Club of Downtown Kingston.
Right.
I'm here with LG Stefan, and we are here to support our member, Donovan.
I see.
So far there are 3 of us, including Donovan, and we're expecting some more.
Okay. Kiwanis Club of Downtown Kingston, correct? Kermit?
That's correct.
All right, good. Welcome to you all.
Looking forward to a great meeting.
Yes, it will be. It will be. Very informative and very timely. 23, Division 23 West. Anybody from 23 West in the house?
Yes. Good evening, P. Stephen and other Kiwanians here online. I bring you greetings from President Melinda of the Kiwanis Club of South St. Catherine. This is IPLG Pauline, and currently I have a delegation of 5 online with you, and it will grow further. Thanks so much for this opportunity.
Thank you. Welcome to South St. Andrew. St. Catherine, sorry. South St. Catherine. Sorry. Welcome you all. Looking forward to your participation.
Thank you.
Actually ask questions. You can put it in the chat, you and your members. Okay, 23 Central. I'm sure we have. I think I saw President Erdesi and some others. So we're now at 23 Kiwanian clubs from 23 East. Sorry, 23 Central. Can you please open your mic and introduce yourself and your delegation?
Hi, good evening, PE. Stephen, how are you?
Stephen.
Sure. How are you doing?
I'm doing fine. Thank you.
Great. At this time, we have a delegation of 3 to include LG Desmond, who is a dual member, and IPP LaShawn. So, thank you for the invitation, and we look forward to this informative meeting. Thank you.
Thank you. You're most welcome. Anybody else from 23 Central?
That's a lot.
Going once, twice. Are there any SLPs who are joining us for this meeting? Any guests of Kiwanians? Non-Kiwanians who just happened to hear about our meeting? No? Okay, I'll just quickly take this opportunity to remind you that this Friday is the biggest event in the social calendar coming up, the Kiwanis Club of Kingston's Grand Charity Ball. And I encourage everybody to, if they haven't bought their tickets, to buy their tickets now and make sure that they support. We would greatly appreciate your support and your contribution. And I'm sure the president will tell you more about it, but it's in full swing. We have an entertaining program, an exciting menu, and you know the vibes are always there with the Kiwanis Club of Kingston. So if you do have a ticket, make sure you contact one of our members and they'll be able to get a ticket to you. It's this Friday. So put it down on your social calendars, put it in your things to do, and we look forward to your presence this Friday at the Kiwanis Ball. If there's nothing else, I'm going to move back to you, President Newton, to continue with the program.
Thank you, P. Stephen. As usual, well done. I kind of suspect that you're doing this thing so well that even when you're president, someone may change the rules and ask you to still continue. But we'll see when we get there. Like to say welcome. I see PDT Vivian online and President Kiefer. Welcome to both of you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Okay, nice to have you. And as P. Stephen just said, I mean, I know this is not the section of the program for it, but we can't say it enough. We don't want you to wake up Saturday morning and be beating up yourself that you didn't attend our grand charity ball on Friday night. So please remember, that's where you need to be, Friday night. All right. We are now moving on to apologies for absence. I have not received any. Secretary William, have you received any, sir?
No, just to remind members that we still keep VP Garfield Wint in our prayers. He'll be going up to Florida this week for a minor surgery.
Okay, and we certainly will. You know, he is one of those central figures in the club. We're all important. As long as you're a member of the Kiwanis movement and you're important to the Kiwanis movement, as long as you're a member of the Kiwanis Club of Kingston, then you're family to us. And we know Garfield has been going through some challenges, and you know, as DLG Willie just said, you know, we should remember to keep him in our prayers. All right, we are going to.
Before you move on, President, just let you know, I got a message that Assistant Trustee Ralston will be late.
Okay. All right. Thank you. All right. And I must say also welcome to DLG, Glenn. Good evening, sir. I see you're online. Glad to see you. We are now going to go back to PE Stephen for recognition of birthdays and anniversaries.
Thank you, President Newton. Back again so quickly. As you said, with this part of the program, we recognize birthdays and anniversaries. I'd like to switch things up and ask if there's any of our 66 guests, 68 guests who are here who is celebrating a birthday or anniversary. We're giving the guests a priority this week. You can just open your mic and tell us if you're celebrating a birthday, anniversary, special occasion this week. Anybody? Maybe an early Christmas bonus or something of that nature. All right, if not, let's move on to the Kiwanis Club of Kingston people who are celebrating birthdays and anniversaries. According to our register, strangely enough, there's nobody who's having a birthday this week. That's the week of December 12th to 18th. But we do have a number of Kiwanians and their spouses who have anniversaries. So I'll just go through the list so that if you know any of these persons, please extend as anniversary greetings to them. And the husbands, please remember that the wives are looking forward to some kind of special gift on their anniversary. So start planning if you haven't planned already, and make sure it's in your things to do list. So first of all, we have Kiwanian Windsor Sawyer and his wife Loy, who celebrate their anniversary on the 14th of December. Also, DP Arturo Stewart and Marcia, his wife, also on the 14th of December. I'm looking if Director David Hall is online, but David and his wife Carol celebrate on the 17th of December, their anniversary. And then finally, PD Gladstone Mallet and his wife Faye on the 19th of December have their anniversary. So happy anniversary to all of these Kiwanians and their spouses. I'm wishing them continued blessings and good vibes for their marriages and in their lives moving forward. Back to you, President Newton. That's it for me from this part of the program.
Before you go, Gladstone and Faye, what date did you say?
I have the 19th of December.
19th. Okay, thank you. Thank you, sir.
Yes.
All right. All right. And that having been said, we will now move on to Kiwanis education with LG Desmond Bachelor.
Thank you, President Newton. Good evening, everyone, fellow Kiwanians, SLP members, and guests. I'll speak about the responsibilities of the board. The board of directors consists of directors and officers elected to manage the affairs of the club. The board handles most of the business of the club by overseeing the implementation of its bylaws and policies. It sets strategic direction, it approves the club's budget, ensure the club meets its financial obligations, including the annual review of financial statements. It approves the admission of new members, and it also suspends or removes members not in good standings. It determines the frequency of meetings, it appoints standing committees, it approves the club's official bank account and its signatories. It is responsible for making prompt payment of dues to Kiwanis International and the district. It is also responsible for managing disciplinary matters affecting members. That's it for Kiwanis Education, President, fellow Kiwanians.
Thank you. Thank you, LG Desmond. And if you hear versus LG Desmond sounding a bit tired, I know personally that he has been shouldering a whole lot of Kiwanis work across the weekend through to now. So we just want to say, sir, we are here for you because we know the work is a whole lot. And no.
Thank you, President.
Okay, sir. And I guess we are now at start time, right? And since it's start time, it is not for me to say who the star is, but for DP Stewart to bring him online. So DP Stewart, you're up, sir. Are you hearing us, DP Stewart?
Is he muted?
Well, I know DP Stewart sometimes use one for visual and one for audio.
Searching for something.
Okay, and he's on. It's yours,
Okay.
DP Stewart.
Thank you, President Newton. Fellow Kiwanians and guests, it is something keeps disappearing. Okay, found it again. For some of you who may have only seen our first flyer, you didn't see the second flyer, you may not have known that there is a change in the presenter for this evening. So it won't be Donovan Callum, right? It is going to be Major retired Ret'd Reese. So those are for you who didn't see it. I don't think Kermit saw it because he mentions, the original proposal. But we understand that Donovan did get ill, and that's why.
Sorry, DP Stewart, you're a little low. So if you could give us a little more volume.
Okay, is that better?
Much better.
Okay. So ladies and gentlemen, fellow Kiwanis and guests, let me tell you a little bit about our guest speaker this evening. Major Reese has extensive experience in diverse areas of logistics, ordnance disposal, trade facilitation, customs and revenue administration, asset protection, risk management, intelligence, finance, emergency management, and business process reengineering, including 13 years of exemplary service to the Jamaica Defense Force, retiring his commission in 1987. Major Reese has served the public and private sector in several senior executive positions, such as Commissioner of Customs, Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of National Security, Commissioner of Corrections, Director General in the Office of Disaster Preparedness and Emergency Management, and Senior Director, Regional Operations, National Housing Trust, and senior management appointments in the private security industry. He also has considerable experience in the social services sector, including manager of the Kingston Restoration Company, UK Department for International Development, Jamaica Urban Poverty Project, and past board appointments at the Port Authority of Jamaica, Port Management and Security Limited, Southeast Regional Health Authority, and the Jamaica Fire Brigade, and the Bellevue Hospital. He is a member of the American Society for Industrial Security and a Justice of the Peace for the parish of Kingston. Major Richard attended Woolmer's Boys School. I'm sure he's very proud of that, although I would question that, but I won't tonight. Holds an Executive Master's of Business Administration, administration degree from the Andreas School of Business, Barry University, Florida. He has also completed the Port Facilities Security Officers course, International Diploma in Restorative Justice at the Theological Queen's University, Ontario, Canada. And he has done Senior Crisis Management course, a Senior Crisis Management course in the U.S. State Department Counterterrorism Programs in Virginia, USA. Currently, he is the Managing Director of Allied Protection Security Limited, and he's also a Kiwanian, a distinguished president of the Kiwanis Club of Kingston. So he has checked all the boxes, and I'd like you to put your hands together and give a warm welcome to Major Ret'd Reese.
Clap for me.
Yes, good evening. Just giving you a mic check. Can everyone hear me?
Yes, hear you
Strength five,
clearly.
sir. Strength five.
Loud and clear.
Okay. All right. I have been asked to deputize for Mr. Donovan Callum, who is unavoidably absent due to illness, and will be making this presentation on his behalf, and also adding some of my own experiences and advice. The presentation is security and safety tips for all seasons, especially at Christmas time. And the question is, are you aware of our crime statistics, in particular murder? You'd have seen that in 1962, it was 3.9 per 100,000, 2009, 58 per 100,000, and in 2023, 52 per 100,000. 1,253 murders so far this year, which is an average of 4 per year. Jamaica is among the top 5 national homicide rates in the world. Now, you will see that there have been changes in trends, but what I think has shifted is the number of shootings, some of which result in murder, and reprisal killings. Generally, we have had a shift from primarily the lotto scam and extortion, and we have shifted to extortion and armed robbery and inter and intra-gang violence. So that accounts for most of the shootings and murders. In terms of statistics as of November 25th, we stood at 1,253 murders, 376 rapes, and 638 robberies, and 733 break-ins. We move to definitions. The definition of security is a secure condition or feeling or state of mind. We also have awareness, knowledge, or perception of a situation. Alertness, ability to think clearly and notice things. Threat, a person or thing likely to cause danger or damage. Instruments of personal and physical security. You have people, policies and procedures, and you have equipment and technology. I'm just trying to manipulate the slideshow because I'm not able to have a full view because of the participant display. All right. We now move to elements of crime. There is the desire, there's the ability to commit the crime, and there's the opportunity to commit the crime. In terms of opportunities provided, stealth, concealment, easy access. In the recent incident just this week in Greyground Mandeville, the persons who would have attacked that facility and the couriers would have gained entry by cutting the rear fence of a facility, which afforded them easy access and rapid deployment. And it just shows you that there's that due diligence that criminals carry out. Categories of crime to which we are often exposed. There are theft, action of or crime of stealing, burglary, entrance into a structure with intent to commit a crime, robbery, the utilization of force or fear in order to gain personal property belonging to another. You have assault, a violent attack, and you have murder, the unlawful planned killing of one person by another. Or we can pluralize and say persons. Now, items most targeted. Currently, we see cash and valuable items. And more business places are being targeted for cash. Persons, individuals are also targeted for cash, let's say leaving the bank, etc. And the high value items such as cell phones, laptops, etc. Now, how do we avoid being a victim? There always needs to be individual risk assessment, and we speak to who, what, where, and how. What is the most likely occurrence or the probability, high or low? How vulnerable are we? Is it worth the risk? Do we accept or avoid risk? These are some of the things that we have to review. Areas of focus in terms of personal security: on the street, in your motor vehicle, public transportation, home or office or business facility. So we move to the street, and persons are always advised to be yes, we have silence his mic. Always be alert and aware of your surroundings and of people around you. Oftentimes, persons are distracted, using their cell phones while walking, or even using their cell phones while driving, and they are not aware of what is happening in their surroundings, and they are more vulnerable to an attack. Make casual eye contact with people when you're walking. Traveling in groups whenever possible. Try to avoid areas that are heavily vegetated when walking or running. On the street, avoid the use of cellular phones, as I said before, or headphones. And as you can see, this person is caught totally unaware, and this is the typical means by which persons are robbed these days, where the cyclist is traveling in the opposite direction on the wrong side of the road in this instance, and is an easy target whether the person's phone was on their belt or in their hand, etc. So that person should have been alert to know that the person riding up to them was on the wrong side of the road as well. And there are two persons on the cycle. Now they could have timed it and pushed them over as they stopped, and then maybe make their escape the nearby bushes. But that's just to show that being unaware makes you more vulnerable. In addition, walk in the middle of the sidewalk facing traffic. Avoid isolated streets or bus stops. Avoid danger spots like quiet or badly lit roads. Be suspicious of a stranger who warns you of the danger of walking alone and then offers to accompany you. So I have some posing as good Samaritans. Purses and handbags. These should be carried close to the body, preferably in front of you, gripping straps. More recently, a lot of persons have advised ladies to use neck wallets with a strap, which would fit inside the inner blouse and would not be visible because you'd have a jacket over it, so you wouldn't see the string around your neck. Those pouches can carry your identification, it can carry a mobile phone, and it can carry cash. Remembering, of course, that you're still going to travel with a handbag with some minimal cash and some personal items. So the person does a snatch and grab. You haven't lost your identification, you haven't lost your phone. You may even put an old phone that is not working in your bag. Okay, so initially they would have thought that they would have got something valuable. Of course, you can also put on tracking device software on your phones to locate them. To avoid being hurt, be prepared to let go. So if you have been caught off guard and the attacker has the better of you, it is best to surrender those possessions than risk injury or loss of life. If a robber asks you for your purse or wallet, do not hand it to them. Toss it away from you on the ground and run. So they would now be focusing on the wallet or the bag to see what is inside, and that gives you an opportunity. Of course, nowadays we have sometimes up to 4 persons or 3 engaged in the robbery. So you wouldn't have that advantage because you'd have been outnumbered. So you have to make a quick assessment as to your options. Do not be afraid, neither should you hesitate to scream. Be vigilant when using ATMs. We have seen the series of robberies with one particular company when they are recharging the ATMs with money, and persons would have also recognized that people have been held up and forced to go to ATMs to access cash. What I do notice is that most ATMs have no form of concrete protection, even 30% of the base of the ATM. So it's all glass, and if they were ever to engage you with a firearm, you are very vulnerable, and the teams servicing the ATM would have nowhere for to take cover. So that's some of the recommendations that we have made. Avoid areas that have a high crime activity. For your vehicle, the first strategy, of course, our mitigating strategy is to fit an alarm. A lot of persons operate vehicles without alarms, and a lot of persons leave valuables. What some people do is carry a knapsack, and in that knapsack, they would travel with their personal computer or tablet and any other equipment that they have. So each time they leave the car, they would not leave those valuable items in the car. For those who carry firearms, never leave your firearm in your vehicle. It should be on your person, because you can't use it when you're away from your vehicle, and it is what makes more people vulnerable, because if it's stolen, of course, there's more lives lost. Keep your vehicle in good working condition and avoid the may reach situation. So a reliable vehicle, reasonable petrol levels, so that you can make it to your destination without having to make unplanned stops. Vary your daily routine in your coming and going, and avoid a predictable pattern and time. Park in well-lit areas is another recommendation. Also, do a visual scan of the area around your vehicle prior to and when approaching it. Observe the interior of your car at the passenger side, floor, and back seat. Now, if your vehicle is heavily tinted, it may be impossible for you to even see if someone has already gained access and is waylating you. If you're parked next to a larger vehicle that obscures your clear vision from the driver's side, enter your car from the passenger side. Look at the car parked on the driver's side of your vehicle and the passenger side. If someone is sitting in the seat nearest to your car, walk away and get someone to accompany you back to the car. Have a charged cellular phone with you at all times and use your car alarm as a panic button or panic system. So by activating your car alarm, that will also attract attention. Avoid having car keys and house keys on the same bunch. It can damage your ignition switch because of the weight. And if you lose your bunch of keys, you would have lost possibly your house keys, office keys, car keys, etc. Install an alarm or a vehicle tracking system. In terms of tracking, persons with Apple phones can actually purchase tags. Initially, these tags were used to locate your keys or any valuable item that you may have misplaced. And this tracking is so good that I would have traveled from Florida with my apartment keys from Miami, and my sister was able to track it and trace that it was in fact in Jamaica and where it was. But it can be also placed in a vehicle to track your vehicle. It can be placed in your handbag, etc. We do know that insecure spouses sometimes use them for other reasons, but we're here dealing with security. It can help you with your child. If your child is abducted or a family member is abducted, it can also help to track their location. Keep your windows rolled up and doors locked as soon as you get into the vehicle. If you suspect that you're being followed, get to the nearest public populated space or police station and use your mobile phone to report the activity. Items that are a must to have in your vehicle. Naturally, a flashlight, a knife, because you may be tied up and you may be able to access that knife to free yourself. First aid kit, and of course, your mobile phone. When driving, try to maintain a distance of at least a car length between yourself and the vehicle in front. Now, I know there's a tendency in Jamaica to travel almost on the person's bumper that's traveling ahead of you, primarily maybe because you don't want anybody to get ahead of you or bore you in traffic. But by keeping that distance, it gives you an opportunity to detour should you come under attack, whether to use a sidewalk or to use a lane that is free. But when you're parked bumper to bumper, then you're virtually locked in. Be aware of incidents that are intentionally done to cause you to stop. So those again, of course, are distractions. In terms of public transportation, always be alert and aware of your surroundings and the people around you. Don't open your purse or wallet while boarding the bus. Have your fare separate and ready. Avoid wearing flashy jewelry. I wouldn't even say keep it out of sight. Persons have been known to lose fingers just because someone is trying to steal their ring or have had their ears damaged. Notify a friend or family member of your whereabouts and the vehicle you are traveling in, and use your mobile phone. Check your purse or wallet if someone is crowding or pushing against you. It is not the place to broadcast your personal life and business. Of course, that's using the mobile phone. Do not be afraid to make eye contact with persons you suspect. Trust your instinct. If you feel strongly enough about a suspicion, get off that public transport. Stay awake and stay alert at all times. Limit the number of bags you carry and leave your hands free to respond to any situation. We move now to home. And I had an interesting call from Digicel today, offering 3 security options involving your phone, CCTV, panic systems, etc. But the public response that they were promising is, or their security response is that of the police, which you could not guarantee given the police's remit in terms of any timely response, given the number of calls that the police get and the transport challenges they have. But it shows that there are options where you can maybe observe remotely using camera systems and an app. And if you invest in, you have a company install it, and you invest in the system, you basically pay for your data and you can access it, I would say, free, only for the cost of the data. So those are other options that you can think of, but they also have some added features that they're marketing, and everybody's in business. Be aware of your surroundings at all times, and more particularly, know your neighbors. Nowadays, most people do not interact with their neighbor, and they are not able to share any suspicious activities. A lot of persons set up WhatsApp groups and share information in real time. Utilize the strategies of crime prevention through environmental design, and that is surveillance, access control, and territoriality. Your hedges and shrubs should be trimmed because it impedes surveillance. Prominently display your house or gate number so that it aids effective emergency service response. Use a safe for your valuables, and that safe should be concealed so that if someone gains access to your property or there are service personnel who visit your home, it is properly concealed. Invest in electronic security, such as an intrusion detection or alarm system and video surveillance system. I'd also add that you can invest in a small dog that makes a lot of noise. You don't necessarily have to have the dog in your house, but that dog will alert you if there's anyone who has breached your premises, and the dog can also indicate if all is well when you arrive home just by their action. Invest in proper lighting, use motion detectors, and it is also important to use solar-powered lighting, especially outside lighting, so that if you do get a power cut, you still have general lighting. Dispose of your garbage responsibly without sending the right message to the wrong person. So all your correspondence and all that with your personal information, make sure that's shredded. Keep valuables out of sight and utilize blinds. Use automatic gate openers responsibly. Open only after securing yourself inside your vehicle. or similarly close it once you have entered before exiting your vehicle, or when you're leaving. See to it that the gate is locked before leaving. If someone is at home, alert them to your departure and arrival. So if you're out late, it's not a bad thing to call home and say, well, okay, I'm heading home now, and keep in touch while you're on the way. The person at home can maybe turn on some additional lights so that if anyone is waylating, they'll realize now that someone in the house is alert. Let's move to the office. We're coming to a close. Be aware of everyone that goes in and out of your office or space. If you do not recognize someone, challenge them. So it's important to have identification, uniforms, etc., and access control. Do not leave personal belongings like handbags, purses, wallets, cell phones, tablets, or other valuables in plain view or in unlocked drawers. These items are easily removed without being noticed. Enforce your no solicitation policy so that you will prevent future acts. So you have a lot of persons who come in. Persons have rubber stamps on their desk, various things, and seals, and the individual steals letterheads, steals other franking documents, etc., to commit fraud, or they use the opportunity to steal something that was not secured in your workspace. Protect your office keys, your ID, your access codes and badges. Do not share your access codes or your access card, and do not leave them lying around for others to use. When working late, make sure that you take extra precautions. Lock your doors, let people know where you are. Make sure you have a safe way to get back to your vehicle or have a security escort. Don't leave computers unlocked when you're not present. Lock your screen and avoid people snooping, or you can activate that feature just like how you activate it on your phone. Check ID and verify when service providers and contractors come to the office for repairs or cleaning. Be aware, be proactive. If someone or something seems odd, report it. Follow established procedures and policies at all times. Scams. Be aware of the who's, when, where, and what, and how. Insist that valid ID be presented. Beware of those insisting that you pay cash for service, and be suspicious of unmarked vehicles being used. Do not hesitate to verify or do not use contact information provided by the service provider. Speak to persons through a locked grill, gate, or window if possible. If the deal seems too good to be true, it probably is. Attending social events. Avoid going to social events alone, especially those functions that will end late. Do not consume alcoholic beverage if you are driving, and if you must, know your limit. Be careful when responding to calls that are blocking someone. Don't be too quick to respond. Don't respond alone, and don't go directly towards your vehicle. Scan the area for suspicious activity, and if at all possible, get an escort. And that concludes the presentation, and thank you for your attention.
Well, thank you, DP Richard. That was a lot of stuff to absorb, and I just want to tell others that
very comprehensive, I would say.
Yeah, that we are actually streaming live on YouTube, so the video will be available because this needs to be, watched again to be able to absorb it.
DP Stuart, could we get a little volume?
Okay, let me.
And Richard needs to stop screen sharing.
Yes, thank you.
Yes, you can stop screen sharing.
I was
Okay.
actually looking for the button.
Okay, the floor is now open for questions. Or, let me just start by asking one thing. You mentioned something about an adjacent vehicle, and maybe if somebody's in the vehicle on your side or whatever. But nowadays, a lot of vehicles are tinted. I've felt a little uncomfortable at times when I stop beside, I have to park beside a vehicle, and I can't see if the vehicle has anybody in it. I thought at one stage there were some rules or laws that were brought in about the tinting. What's the current situation with respect to tinting, Richard?
Yes, the legislation states the level of tint that is to be used on a car. If you purchase a car from a dealer, you usually hear the customer quarreling with the dealer that the tint is not dark enough. So there are several schools of thought, but if you have a problem in your vehicle and no one can see, then the person who would have kidnapped you would have better cover. Similarly, vehicles parked beside you that are heavily tinted, some of them even the base of the windscreen or the inside of the windscreen is tinted, affords good cover for a person who wants to attack someone in a car park. So it's just a matter of the law not being enforced, or you have a surge where minibuses and public passenger vehicles are maybe targeted, and occasionally maybe a private vehicle. But I would say maybe 85% of the vehicles tint breach the law.
But there's no campaign to do anything about it. I have not heard anybody talking about it much, and it's almost as if to say, that is one of the forgotten ones. How could we get something, more?
It's a question of it's a question of sustainability. You have the laws, you have the powers to enforce, and if you look at the traffic situation, just taking one challenge, that in itself, you'd have had markings at junctions to show that if you're blocking, you're clearly in the zone and you'd be ticketed. But where there's no sustained or consistent enforcement, you have breaches, not only by the public passenger vehicles, but by the traveling public, the motoring public in general. So it's a question, I'm sure recently you'd have seen more traffic management at some key junctions, maybe in the last 6 weeks. That's a usual cyclical surge for Christmas. But managing our traffic situation is critical if we are to move around and achieve what we have to achieve with business and also control crime. The plus, though, is that you have to give credit where credit is due. The police 6 or 7 person quick response teams are very effective. The only thing is that they're not sufficient numbers of these teams, but for the few that I have seen in operation, those have been very effective. But you'd need many more teams, both in all of the urban centers, to deal with traffic, to deal with public order.
Thank you. Who's gonna ask the first question from the floor?
Hi, DP. Stuart, I have a question for Major Reese.
Sure. Go ahead, Crystal.
Good evening, Major Reese. A quick question. What 3 or 2 trackers would you recommend to install in a vehicle? I just got a little vehicle. I'm not sure if my spouse put a tracker in it, but I know there's none installed in it. So what 3 brand or what 3 types of trackers would you recommend? I know some with cameras. What do you recommend?
Well, the options you have, all of the current products on the market are effective. Technology has reached that stage. Usually when the tracker is installed, it is placed in an area of the vehicle that is hard to access, because you wouldn't want someone to steal the car and immobilize the tracker. Persons also put in dash cams, which both video the persons in the vehicle and also video your path, your direction that you're traveling. These trackers give you an alert on your phone, similar to those that alarm systems that are installed, let's say at your home, and it will basically give you a series of alerts. You can set the tracker to alert if the vehicle exceeds the speed limit. You can do a geofencing, where if your vehicle should not go outside of a particular zone, you can restrict it to that. So if the individual uses the vehicle outside of that zone, then you would get an alert on your phone. You can also, with some of them, shut down the vehicle. A lot of rent-a-car companies use that, where you don't return the car by a particular time, and they simply shut down the vehicle. And then they can track and recover the vehicle. Yes.
Interesting. Thank you.
The one I alluded to with the Apple phone is a very simple one. If you just give me a moment, I'll just show you a tag.
Okay.
Yes, so this tag works with an Apple phone. It was placed with a mailbox key. I attached the mailbox key to the apartment key, and instead of
you probably need to start screen sharing again.
Yes, and instead of leaving the tag and the mailbox key and just taking the apartment key, I had them all together. And that tag was able to be tracked from Florida to a local apartment. So persons use these devices in different ways. I know as we get older, so sometimes we get forgetful and we misplace things. So that technology exists, similar to a tracking software that you put on your phone. And as you get closer to the item, some people attach it to the back of their cell phone. As you get closer to the item, of course, you get the alert and you can actually locate it. Like a person who has left a phone in a store. Yes, you know it's in that particular store, but as you get closer to the store now, it will actually give you the precise location and give you an audible alert.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, I see a hand up for Everton Dawkins, I think. You can go ahead. Everton?
Sorry, good night.
Okay, go ahead. Yes, go ahead.
Okay, quick question for Major Reese. Reports would indicate of late that there's an abundance, perhaps not an abundance, but an increase in tasers in Jamaica. Are these legal? And secondly, for women, for the females, is there, or is the use of what's this, pepper spray, is that legal? Is it accepted? Or are they allowed through customs?
No, all of those items being present in the domestic space would have been illegally imported by commercial enterprises or individuals. So with the taser, that is illegal, and with the pepper spray, it is still illegal. There was a point in time when persons were lobbying for it to be made, to be legalized, at least with the pepper spray. the Ministry of Health has long maintained that the taser poses a danger to individuals where it could bring on a heart attack. There are varying opinions on it, but our Ministry of Health seems to have a strong view against tasers, even using a taser in a police formation or in a correctional formation, which is primarily seen as a non-lethal item. But if you are held with either of those, or you use it and the individual who was tasered sues you, you'd have a problem. Of course, one would argue that they might have saved their life as well, but it is an illegal device.
Oh, there is a question in the chat. Let me just read it. The person is asking, is it possible to program your car to open only the driver's side with the FOB? Not sure what that acronym is for. FOB.
Yes, FOB. Yes. Okay. The fob that the person is referring to is the device you use to open your car. Is a keyless entry, keyless entry. Some cars can be programmed that once you open it, only the driver's side opens. And if you want to open the other side, you have to manually open the other doors. So that ensures that when you open your driver's door, no one can just open the passenger door and gain access. You would have to now manually open it. Yes. So it depends on the car and the alarm system or access system that is being used.
Yes.
But most of the modern cars, if you're even having problems with your car window not going up fully, they use the steering wheel and reprogram the computer to get it to work again. Yes.
Somebody is reminding us that there's this tactic that criminals use when they throw an egg on your windshield. Could you want to elaborate a bit on that?
Yes, that really is just a means to disable you, because you won't be able to drive with it. And if you were to use your windscreen wipers, then you'd have lost vision. So a person may see it, not know that if you activate the wipers, then the egg yolk is going to smear the entire windscreen. In fact, if egg gets on your car paint and it's not removed quickly, it will create severe damage. But that in itself, one little spot in the right section would, if you activate your windscreen wipers, you wouldn't be able to drive very far. So it would have been better to drive off and leave that one spot that has been egged, for want of a better term.
Without wiping at it.
Or avoid using the car at all, and get help to have it cleaned, etc. Yeah.
DP Stuart, if I may, my raised hand somehow is not working. So sorry to butt in.
Okay, sure, go ahead.
Two things. One is a comment, and that yes, that thing about programming your remote to open just one door. If most of us read our manuals, because I was driving the same car for about 3 years before I realized that I could program it to either one click open just the driver's door or 2 click open all the doors. So some of you online, if you read the manual, you might find that you can program it to open just one door with 1 click or 2 clicks to open all doors at the same time. My question, Major, is these tracking devices that you can put on your vehicle, outside of going to, say, a security company, what's the or even with going to a security company, what's the the cost range we're looking at?
I don't have all those figures with me in terms of the installation and monthly charge. I don't have that available. But for the cost, affordability is dependent on your income, and it depends on the probability of your car being stolen, the type of car that you buy. Some vehicles are more high risk than others, if you look at the profile of the one stolen. But everything is vulnerable, every system. We have had instances where persons have had trackers, the vehicle is stolen at 2 a.m. You become aware that the vehicle is stolen at maybe 6:30 or 7 o'clock. And by the time you track that vehicle and find it, it's somewhere in Olympic Gardens or some other, going up to Boone Hall or somewhere, and it's scrapped. Okay? They move very fast. A transmission on a SUV that DP Stewart would drive can run you in the region of $2.7 million just for the transmission. So a person goes in, they have a defective transmission, and the mechanic just sources one by having someone theft. So it's a component, persons have moved to component change.
Yeah.
So they are only interested in that vehicle because of the transmission. So these things happen. But many highest buses have been scrapped within hours,
Yes. That's true. I had a Corolla that was stolen, and within an hour, the police told me it's unlikely we will get it back. But I also believe that, Major, that one of the pluses for installing these devices is that I think some insurance companies will give you a discount on your insurance if these are installed.
And the other thing is you can have an immobilizer also fitted. So that's an added switch that you would activate. So there are a number of options apart from just putting in a basic car alarm.
You mean something that would make it impossible for them to move the car, to drive off the car? That's what you mean.
So you have electronic immobilizers and you have manual immobilizers like the steering locks, etc. Of course, they cut the steering and take off the steering lock, but it takes time.
Yeah.
I was curious. I wonder how many persons in this audience have been mugged. I can think of three actually situations that have happened to me. One when I was kind of a teenager, walking home from a party, and that I won't call that I can. Well, it could have been serious, but it wasn't. But since as an adult, I was in Sovereign one evening. I just parked, and I was walking up towards, like where Flow and Digicel is. And as I got nearer to there, or approaching there, I saw where, I saw a bike approaching me, but to be honest, my level of awareness just wasn't what it should be. And the bike came close to me. The guy grabbed off my chains. Those are the last 2 chains I ever had. And that was it. If I had a better presence of mind, I could have probably shouted to the gate, because he would have gone out through the gate. They have a bar there. And
not anymore, but yes.
I just didn't have the presence of mind to do that, because I was just in shock.
Well, in my situation, it was walking from the passport office past the plaza and purchasing a meal, going up to Courts Car Park. So I'm walking against the traffic, and a motorcyclist left Burger King, traveled down the sidewalk, well dressed. He had a tie on, a waistcoat, a brand new motorcycle. So I became suspicious and was prepared now to chuck him if he stopped beside me. But I was not conscious now that he was after the mobile phone that was clipped on my waistband. And he basically operated like a relay button change. I mean, he accelerated as he approached me, and he just reached with his right hand and grabbed the phone and the case on the waistband. So he would have had, I mean, quite a bit of expertise. He did get some juice in his back because I was alert. But then you say to yourself, had you engaged him otherwise, then you could have maybe hit somebody in Twin Gates Plaza or somebody on Halfway Tree Road, on Constant Spring Road, etc. So yes, you're alert to what the person is going to do, but you didn't realize that they're targeting the phone in your waistband. So since then, I've stopped. I've never lost a phone before that. And the previous time I was held up was when I was going to school, taking a shortcut through Michael. So it's 2 times in my life I've been robbed. Yeah.
But to push what Major Reese said early on, I have witnessed where about this the dark tinted car parked beside you, and since then I've been aware. I have seen where a dark tinted car was parked right beside somebody who they were after, and it was when the person went to their car and was opening the door that this totally tinted car door flew open and the guys came out. So ever since then, Major Reese, I've been kind of wary anytime I see a dark tinted car parked beside my vehicle on the driver's side, because I witnessed that.
Yes.
One thing I found amazing is although the guy grabbed the chain from my neck, I didn't get a scratch. Yeah.
That's so swift.
And I mean, I can almost laugh about it now, but the fact is that these are criminals are they practice these things. It seems like they practice these things. It's not just I guess if they want to get good at something, you have to practice it.
Yeah. Yes.
Anybody else has anything to raise? I don't see a hand up.
DP Stewart, I don't know if you want to share, if you wish, that incident. To come in.
Yes.
I don't know. Since this is
yes, I could. Yeah, I could share it. Many years ago, I can't remember the exact year, although I could probably trace it to figure it out. We were interclubbing over by Portmore, and the club was meeting on the rooftop, because this is significant, of the what's the name of that restaurant, Chris? But it's in one of those plazas, one of those strip malls. Now I'd parked, and for some, I actually had to take some papers up. It was Central Portmore. I actually had to take some papers upstairs, so I was kind of sitting in the car for a while, and I didn't come out immediately. And then something had fallen. Well, I was looking for something, and I couldn't reach across the seat. When something drops down on the side of your seat, I couldn't reach across it from there. So what I did is I came out of the car and walked around the other side to open the door to retrieve what had fallen between the door and the passenger seat. Now, when I was coming back around, I did see a guy walking. No, he wasn't trying to walk close to me, but I did see him. But again, I wasn't conscious that this person was targeting me. So I now come back into my car, but my passenger door is unlocked. So as I sit in my car, this same guy I saw jumps in the seat beside me, and he has a gun pointed at my waist. And well, I felt very uncomfortable with that gun pointed at my waist. And instinctively, I grabbed his hand, and just to make sure the gun wasn't pointing at me. And then because why I mentioned the rooftop, you know, other Kiwanians who were present, and I won't call any name, but somebody recognized that something wasn't right, had a firearm and burst a shot in the air. The guy heard it and immediately opened the door and ran. And you know what was strange? When I came out of the car, I didn't understand why I couldn't stand up. I wasn't hurt. But my legs just were rubber.
Right.
My legs were just rubber. I didn't even understand what was happening. I just couldn't.
Yeah.
I couldn't stand. But that was close. That was close. And you know, to this day, you know, when I talk to the person who did it, you know, we always remind each other. Well, you know, you saved me that night. But that was my other experience. Okay, anybody else? But the point about being aware is really important. You know, you don't just walk out or go somewhere and not look around left, right, and look for and that tinted car thing, you know, is very important. It's very important. Okay. If there's President Newton, would you like to do the extension? If we probably could do the extension when you would like to do it. And then we can call and thank you.
Okay. All right. So I'm gonna ask for an extension of 10 minutes for us to complete our business tonight.
So
Yes.
present.
So moved.
Seconded.
So moved by DP Chris, seconded by.
I think Junior first, so it's okay.
Okay. So moved by IDP Junior, seconded by DP Chris.
The other way around.
The other way around.
All right. Other way around.
Okay. And since there are no more hands up, I am going to call on DP Rupert, who he didn't say he had an experience, so but he's gonna do the thank you. DP Rupert.
You're muted, DP Rupert.
Oh boy. After hearing so much from Major, let me just say a few words before I say thanks. You know, I knew that Major Richard Reese was an accomplished gentleman of the Kiwanis Club of Kingston and Jamaica. But I always suspect that something was wrong. But I didn't know it was because he knew about Bellevue. I didn't know that he had an association with Bellevue, man. I knew something was.
I tried to resist the board appointment and told the permanent secretary I did not want to be associated with any more inmates in the prisons. But he begged me to serve, you know.
But Major, it's so good to see you. So good to see you, sir. That specimen of gray matter that you have between those two ears of yours have been a gift not only to the Kiwanis Club of Kingston, but to Jamaica. God bless you, Doc. What you did for us this evening was to give us information that we really couldn't pay for from your vast trove of experience you have shared with us. Sometimes you sounded like the Minister of National Security. At another time, you sounded like you were Commissioner of Customs and then Commissioner of Corrections. But thanks for all that you said to us. And a few things I just want to remind us of that you told us, and I won't be long. As we go through this season, this Christmas season, is that you told us that we should be aware, always pay attention to how we carry ourselves on the streets, how we relate to our motor vehicle, just as the conversation just said. Be keen on how we carry ourselves on public transport. Also, take good care of how we carry ourselves at home especially when we go out at night, sun coming in, and when we're at public facilities, especially in these times. Thank you for the information. And it's good when the director of operations can be sick and be replaced by the managing director, isn't it?
Well, being a team member in the army, one would say that he was detailed, and due to unforeseen circumstances, sudden illness, I had to fill the breach. And it shows that he was extremely prepared in terms of his presentation, and I rehearsed it to make sure that I could present it and embellish it as best I could. So I will convey the appreciation from the participants to him.
Thank you, Doc. And now we know why you achieved the rank of major, because you have achieved, you spoke so well, just coming in at the last moment. So on behalf of all of us, sir, all the members of the Kiwanis Club of Kingston, all the members of the other Kiwanis clubs that are on, our friends who are on, we just want to say thank you so much, DP Richard Reese. You're not only a scholar, sir, but you're a gentleman, and you're a man of no mean. I hope one day you get the OJ, sir. You deserve it. As usual, you know that we have this certificate. I know you have many of them, but this is a special one, and you're going to be getting it to show off with Mr. McCallum, to show him that, to tell him that, boy, if you were here, this is something that you would get. Yes. So thank you. Can we put our hands together for Major? This was a great presentation, and you did us proud, sir. Thank you so much.
Yeah. My pleasure.
Thank you. Thank you, DP Rupert. And I think we can all rest assured that the OJ is coming sometime soon. No question about that. And I just wanted to say also thanks to Major Reese for a real comprehensive presentation. And the central theme of what he was saying is be aware of who's watching you, right? And talking about being aware of who is watching you, you know, one of the things that we also have to be aware of in the Kiwanis Club is that there's a certain gentleman. We tend to call him the sergeant at arms. He's always watching you, so you always have to be aware. And he's one who don't play. So at this point, let me call on our Sergeant of Arms, Chairman Zuri Johnson, to prove to these members, sir, that you have been watching them. Chairman Zuri?
I don't believe he's present.
Chairman Zuri is not with us. Okay. All right. Well, since Chairman Zuri is not with us, I really don't want him to be upset with me. So what I will do, I will just ask each member of the Kiwanis Club of Kingston who is present here now to make a contribution of $300 towards our funds. All right. That being said, we are now at notices and announcements and interclubbing opportunities, and we'll be taken through that by our Secretary, DLG William Reese.
Thank you, President Newton. I have one major announcement, and that is a reminder to all our members of the upcoming annual Grand Christmas Charity Ball at the Jamaica Pegasus Hotel this coming Friday, 8 o'clock. The planning is all in place for everybody to enjoy themselves. Any member on the call that may wish to purchase a ticket can simply just call Uncle Willie at 361-1436. We can still get a few tickets. But members, please, those who have not yet purchased tickets or contributed to the Christmas ball, please do so. This is a major fundraiser. Proceeds from this event goes towards our many charity projects, especially during 2023-24 administration. And of course, you know that next year will be our 60th anniversary, and that committee should soon be start meeting with Chairman DP Chris Robinson. In terms of interclubbing opportunities, those will be circulated in the morning. At this time, there are no other announcements. President Newton, you may ask or invite visiting clubs if they have any announcement to make it. They can do so now.
Thank you, Secretary DLG. Sorry, Secretary DLG William. And so at this point, I invite any other club online that has an announcement that they would want to share with the rest of us. Please just open your microphone and do so.
Okay, good evening again. I'm President Reese from 23 Central Surrey Online. And next Monday, the 18th of December, our club will hold our carol service. Will be at St. Pius Cathedral Church of Olympic Way. And the costs for personal attendance is $500. However, there'll be an online component to facilitate folks like myself, and that component is free. So you have two options of joining us next Monday at 7 p.m. on December 18th. 6 p.m. on December 18th. And so I also have the flyer that I'm sending out. So look forward to seeing you all there.
Thank you, President Eurydice. Any other announcements? No?
Oh,
yes,
right.
President Newton, sorry about that.
Go ahead, Chairman Crystal.
Okay, good evening again, everyone, distinguished Kiwanians guests. The Kiwanis Club of Montego Bay will be having our Dutch auction on the 21st of December. If you are in the Montego Bay area, please feel free to come on over. I also share the flyer in the Zoom chat group. In addition to that, our cake sale orders deadline is very soon. So we're trying to collect as much funds as we can so we can know how much cake to disperse. So if you do order cakes, please reach out to us, myself or Evo DLG. We leave it your order so I can go ahead and submit them before Thursday. In addition, this Thursday, everyone, I'm inviting you all over to the Kiwanis Club of Montego Bay online. We'll be having our membership development meeting, and our guest speaker is no other than DLG Robert Winter from Division 23 East. Please log on. It's going to be at 6 p.m. sharp. I'll send the link in the Zoom chat now. Thank you. Over back to you, President Newton.
Thank you, Chairman Crystal.
And thank you, DLG Willie.
You're welcome.
And President Newton.
Yes, DP. Sure.
I just thought I would just mention this since on Thursday, I'm going to be accompanying President Newton to CVM, and because it was originally Wednesday and it was switched to Thursday, I have a new time for you, President Newton, which I hadn't yet spoken to you about because I just got information today.
Yes.
That we are supposed to arrive there at 6 a.m.
Okay.
Not my normal time for and the air time is 6:20, and it's really gonna be talking about the ball, and we're gonna use the opportunity to talk a bit about our 60th anniversary year. So if you get up that early, you can tune in on CVM CBM at sunrise, I think they call it. So
Thursday morning, that is.
Thursday.
Thursday morning.
Yeah.
6:20.
Right.
Yes. Yes. Back
Thank
to
you.
President.
Thank you, DP Stuart. Any other announcement?
Thursday seems to be a wonderful day now, President Newton. This is President Joan here from Nation Builders Kingston.
What else is happening, President Joan?
On this Thursday, we are going to kick off some excitement right before your charity ball.
Yes.
With a nice Christmas karaoke night. So we invite everybody to join on and have some fun as the appetizer for the charity ball. This will be online and it will be shared with all the presidents.
All right, great. Great, thank you. I've made a note of it. All right. Any other announcements? None?
Newton.
Go ahead.
President Roy from the Kiwanis Club of Toronto Caribbean. Just want to wish you all the best and all the success with your charity ball. It's something that I always enjoy.
Thank you, President Robert. Wish you were here, but
Roy. President Roy.
President Roy, sorry. I said what I said. President Robert. Yeah, President Roy.
Robert.
Right. Thank you for those wishes, President Roy. Okay. Any other announcements? Okay. Before we go on to the thought for the week, with DP Chris Robinson, it would be remiss of me if I didn't acknowledge the presence of two I call them Kiwanian royalty with us, and that's Mr. Trevor Christian Sir and Mr. Lloyd Distant Senior. Welcome. I wouldn't call them DLG. I call them Kiwanian royalty. That is higher than DLG. So welcome, gentlemen. We notice you're online with us, and we really appreciate you being with us. We now go to thoughts for the week with DP Christopher Robinson.
And I made your co-host, Chris, in case you want to share your screen again. Right, you're good.
Okay, friends. Okay, we have for today, December 12th, I think. Yeah. 2 thoughts to share with you. As you see, we have them on screen. Yeah, you have seen all of them, but let me just do them one at a time. Okay, first thought for this week is that people do not decide their future. They decide their habits, and their habits decide their future.
I like that.
Yes, and that was said by Matthias Alexander. And the next one, vision is the art of seeing what is invisible to others. Vision is the art of seeing what is invisible to others. And that was said by Jonathan Swift. And those, President Newton, are our thoughts for this week.
Thank you. Thank you, DP Chris. Always apt. Thank you. All right. Well, at this point, I am going to ask us all to raise our glasses. We're coming very close to the end of this meeting. So at this point, I'm going to ask us to raise our glasses and drink a toast to Kiwanis International, Jamaica, land we love. Okay. This has been a great meeting. We have learned a lot. I'm pretty sure we will put a lot of what we have learned this evening into action, and it is necessary. So at 8:46, this meeting of the Kiwanis Club of